Hello everybody, this is Ken Faulkner with a knife video. And this may leave you all thinking I've lost my mind. Unless you're one of these people that have climbed that price range ladder and kind of see things the way I see. This is, if you saw my last video, I was talking about how excited I was. And this little pouch and what's inside of it is the reason why. I paid more money for this knife than I have spent on a knife personally. My girlfriend did buy the Rockstead, and that one was more expensive than this. But me personally, I haven't spent this much. I have knives that have the same kind of value or maybe more. But as far as me personally spending, this is the biggest expenditure. And let's get into it. I don't want to talk too much without showing you the knife. But this is the Custom Knife Factory EVO 3.0. EVO means Evolution 3.0 knife. Here's the stats on it. We got M390 steel or titanium handles. You can get these much more fancy versions for sure. This one is definitely good enough for me. We got the hashtags on the bottom here. You can see them. Evolution knife, CKF knives, and Rotten Design. So there's like a combination of people bringing this knife to market in the production version that's here. They apparently, I don't know a lot about these knives other than I've been eyeing them and wanting one for a long time. Never really seriously thinking that I was going to get one anytime soon. But this is how it goes, and it's happened a couple times to me recently where somebody that I really like and respect and see as an actual friend, it gets thrown around a lot in the knife community. But and some of these people I've actually met in person, and it gets to that point. But some people, like, I've never met Brandon Thrasher, but we have gone back and forth quite a bit online. I know from what he's done and what I've seen from him, the kind of person that he is. So I don't know. I can't speak for how he sees me, other than the fact that I do support him. I've been a strong supporter for a long time. I know that he appreciates that. And so anyway, when I see somebody that has a knife sale, and I know it's a knife like this one that I wouldn't expect to see that person selling, it means that there's a reason for that. And if you go to Brandon's video, it used to be Brandon Thrasher, come on in the garage, all that stuff. There was a bunch of drama he had to deal with, which is not something that anybody should have to deal with. And he's had several setbacks in various ways. He talks about how he's recently got laid off from work, so he's in between jobs. And I know how life can be. I've been through things in my life. I've been blessed to have worked at the same company for many years, and I've worked my way up slowly through the hierarchy at the company. I've been there for now over 35 years, and I've been blessed to have that job for that long. And it's a job that I do enjoy, and has actually slowly over time, but over all these years, gotten to the point where I get paid very well. I mean, even considering the fact that I live in California, I can live a decent lifestyle, and I have money for stuff like this. So I have a lot of empathy for people who, because I mean, it could happen to me. The company there, and there's been times over the years that the company's been up, been down, up, down, doing layoffs, all these kinds of things. And I've seen friends go through it. I've, worried about doing it myself. And I can respect that at some point, all this money that I've invested into knives, I might have to turn around and sell them because I need money for other things that are more important. And so anyway, I really feel, I don't take lightly that he sold this knife to me. When he first put it out on the video, and I'll link that video down below if you want to check it out, because there are still 3 knives. In his comments in the description, he's saying which ones have been sold. So he had 5 total, 2 have been sold. Obviously this one and the Devo knife that he had for sale. It's not the Growler version 2 that he had for sale. I was actually looking at that one if possible too. But anyhow, this comes, and it always happens, and it's happened to me. Here's another example of a knife that's like that I never really seriously thought I would own, but always had been very excited about possibly having, and was able to buy this one. This one was from Nick at Behind the Edge, and he was in a similar situation. He had, he's got family. And so does Brandon. He's got family. He's got a few kids, a home, all these other things, and things happen. And anyway, I was able to buy this knife, and that was like a shocker, even though it was a lot of money for me. And the reality of the situation, if I'm being honest with myself, as much as I would want to buy it, if I was just saw it in a store, and it was there at the price that they were selling, and they're always lower than what the value is worth. You can see on the video, if you go to watch it, I paid $650. There's no hiding that. He had said, or best offer. Well, I messaged him right away, and I said, I just got done at Blade Show. I spent, way more than $650, but I also came home with 18 knives. And in reality, it's not a good time for me to spend this money as much as I want this. But then I told him, so I'm going to give it a couple days, and if it doesn't sell, I'm going to wait until after Friday. Some people get paid Friday. And if it doesn't sell by then, it was meant to be. This is the way I just decided on my own. That was my decision. But I said, he was saying, or best offer. I said, don't drop the price. If no one's willing to spend the $650, I will give you that $650 on Saturday. And it's not that I didn't have the money or anything. It's just that, in reality, I didn't need to be spending the money. But over those several days, and I'm sure you've all been through this, obviously not everybody buys big cost knives like this, but even on a less expensive knife that you're really excited about, especially when you're like stepping out of your comfort zone to buy something, you get very excited about it, but you have mixed emotions. So I'm going to spend all this money, but man, I want that knife. And by Saturday, I was going, I hope no one bought that knife. I hope no one bought that knife. I was fully prepared for him to tell me no, somebody came along, and I would be happy for him, because for me, it was very important for him to be able to sell knives. And that's kind of why I'm telling you about his sale, which I believe he's still doing it, because he's only got 2 of them marked as sold. And there's 3 more knives that are very nice knives, and they all have a discount from the new, and he is taking extremely good care of these knives. He talks about if he's got a user that he is not treating with care, he's not going to sell them. And he talks about that in the video. Look at the texture on that. It's got that kind of bark kind of look that you would get from like a modder. But that's how it comes from the custom knife factory. Russian made knife, not USA made, but there's a custom version that was, I guess, very popular. I don't know a lot about it, but I know that it's got to be extremely expensive knife. And because it was such a well-loved custom knife, they managed to work with some of these other companies like Rotten Designs and get this out in a production version. And so anyway, going back, he's got 3 other knives for sale. I'm hoping that maybe somebody watching this video goes over there and is able to buy. But, you know, I can only do what I can do. But I was happy that I was able to get this knife for me and for him. I definitely hope it helps him, puts him in the place there he needs to be. And I am definitely extremely happy with this knife. So let's get into the knife. Enough talking about the backstory. We got the card. It gives all the specs. And you can kind of see, kind of subtle in there, it says CKF. The big C over the KF. It comes with, and he kept all this stuff very nice. It's a very nice looking pouch. It's got the kind of fuzzy inside. Very nice. Custom knives factory. It's not a patch, but that's okay. And then there's a spot in here. They have a cloth, cleaning cloth. Pretty standard. Got their embossed custom knife factory logo in the corner. Also, there's a sticker that came in here. So I'm gonna just go ahead and keep this with the knife. CKF Russia. So he kept that with it. And this is really cool. Look at that. Take a look at those bearings. I don't know if I've ever seen these in person. The double row bearings like that. And they send all these parts with the knife. So I've got a pivot. I got some washers. All kinds of pieces like back spacers, thumb studs it looks like here. Or I guess stop pins really, because you got the cutout. But it's got like all the hardware in here. And that is pretty damn impressive. Even the lock bar insert. So they send all that stuff with it. I mean, you're paying premium, so I just appreciate that a company just doesn't like say, oh, well, you know, the knife is the knife. They throw in this extra stuff. It's like a little, it's like when you go to a fancy place, like maybe a fancy hotel or something like that, and you get all this extra nice treatment that maybe you're not used to. It's really kind of nice. It really makes you feel good to have a company go out of their way. And it's so cool to see that double row bearings, because this thing drops. And I've shown this to a couple people, friends. Every time I tell them, be very careful. And even if I'm not like fully sideways on this and trying to close it, this thing just, it comes down like a guillotine. It really does. I've been just kind of fiddling with it. Now it does land on my thumbnail. Unfortunately, I have never cut myself with it yet, but I have to be careful. And unfortunately, I'm kind of getting used to it now, so I think I'm good. But the way it drops, once you get past that detent up here, it just drops. So that double row of bearings makes a difference. The nice big, I don't know if, I think these are all T8, so this is probably like a 10 or 12. Nice big hardware. The feel of it, and everybody says this when they get it in their hand, it's not something that you can necessarily feel without having it in hand, but that it's a solid feel, and it's just well made, so smooth. All these kind of things that, although I've looked at them and I've actually, you know, been at shows and been able to have them in my hand, but I never really did appreciate it until I really spent enough time with the knife. And yeah, this is definitely flexing, and I know that I'm talking to a lot of people, and if you're like me, you love seeing these knives. You love to see them, and you may never expect to ever have one like I was before, and maybe you never will. There's certainly, I'm the kind of guy that would look at any knife and wish that I could have it, you know, especially the nicer ones. But even like I see these newer budget ones coming out, and I go, man, I wish I could buy that. I wish I could buy that. I wish I could buy that. I mean, and I probably could, but there gets to a point where it's too much. And this may be at that point. I may have gone beyond. Like I said, if I'd seen it for $650 on a website, I probably wouldn't have thought too long about it and wouldn't have done it. But since it also had that added effect, to me is important. It's very important to me. All I can do is tell you, you can believe it or not believe it, to help out people in the community. I know that most of the people in the community, either work for their money or value their money and value other people's money, and they don't want to just ask for freebies so much. There is memberships, there's Patreon, all that kind of thing, and that's support, and I love doing that as well. But like, if they need a decent chunk of money, they're not going to just go out and say, hey, let me do what do you call those things, the GoFundMe or anything like that. I'm not going to downplay that. I've helped out people with GoFundMe, but I think generally people, they see themselves, they're in a tight situation, rather than just asking people to give money when it's not really maybe life or death. I mean, there's been all that stuff, but it's not life or death for Brandon. He's just trying to make this new YouTube channel work, and I've always enjoyed his stuff. I've always been greatly impacted from his videos over the years, and it's helped me with my collecting. So I like to give back. All right, so I'm gonna do some comparisons. I like this knife. I like the hollow grind. It's pretty extreme. It is pretty darn extreme, and it's clear that to me that's a hand ground. I mean, you can kind of even feel it when I was cleaning it off earlier. You kind of feel that it transitions. It's not like a machine thing where it's all just a straight across. It gets thinner as it gets down into this area, and I could feel it. So you can feel that kind of semi-custom work being done on it. And like I said before, I really like that bark kind of pattern. It's very nice, and it feels really good in hand. I love the choils here. We got the choke up spot. We can go back. I do like the kind of Strider-esque shape of the handle. I never really knew how much I liked it until I got this guy in my hand, and the ergos on it with that swelling out in the back. It just makes the knife feel more solid in your hand. I like the curvature of the knife. One that I picked up recently at Blade Show, the stitch kind of has a similar kind of tall blade here. So this is one that I've always looked at and wanted, and it was definitely more affordable, and I did get it at Blade Show. But you can kind of see the language of the design in these two knives, and I'm kind of, over time, as you buy more knives and you really start spending a lot of money, you narrow down specifically what has value in your mind. Obviously, it's not going to be the same for every person. Here's the Harsey. It's another one. It doesn't really have that shape so much, but it does have the grooves in the handle and the swelling here. The nice jimping. This has got some great jimping on the back. It's got this geared backspacer here. Very nice. Nice wide pocket clip that really works well. It gives you more surface area, so as you're trying to get your knife in your pocket, it's more surface area to open it up and to pull it out. It works very well. Obviously, very much thought through. Some less expensive comparisons, because this is a big knife, and I say it over and over again. I probably don't need to so much, except for maybe people are just getting on the video, or maybe this is the first time they've seen, they were watching and they saw the Custom Knives Factory pouch, and they said, oh, I gotta check that out. So they may have never seen my videos before, but I got a couple of more affordable choices. This is the Kaiser Roach, It will give you an idea of the size. And then I got the 8010 from Cold Steel. So there's a couple that are in that size range. Both of them, I would consider them as good size knives. Not so much like a Satsu Dave and the Bruiser crowd's size, but for me, it's a good size knife. So if that gives you an idea of the size of it. As far as the fit and finish of the knife, it's just, I have really nothing to complain about. It's just so easy to open and close. Just got to be careful. I tend to kind of do that finger pushing over the top thing more than the dropping thing, but I still will drop. So easy to get to that lock bar. It's got the lock bar insert that they gave me the spare for, so that's good. So you don't have any stick on your frame lock. Nice big pocket clip. Another good thing about that with a frame lock is you have something to rest your fingers on, so you're not as likely to be putting pressure on the lock bar. So it's just a little additional feature of that, just well designed. Nice jimping, feels great in the hand. I've always enjoyed this that's kind of like a Spyderco kind of thing where they got the jimping here, and sometimes they'll even have jimping up here. But that is a grip that just feels very, very comfortable, very strong. And hollow grind will, speaking of Spyderco, will cut till you hit the bent. This piece of paper has been around for a while. I need to move on with it, but it definitely cuts extremely well. Great geometry for such a relatively thick knife. Because I don't really want to so much go and get out the calipers right now, but you can see how it is with the 8010. It's pretty close to the same, but like I say, that hollow grind just really gives it a great slicey through paper. Everything I've cut so far, obviously I'm not kind of hard using it yet, you know, and maybe I will cut it more as I can get more comfortable with the fact that I'd spent that much money on a knife. The hole deployment, excellent. I can do I think I can roll over the top, but I don't know that it's really designed for that. But you can kind of do that rolling over motion. So yeah, that's it. I mean, 22 minutes in, I really am super happy with this purchase. I want to thank Brandon for giving me the opportunity that I probably wouldn't have had maybe for years or maybe ever if he hadn't had this sale. Go check his sale out. Links in the description. And yeah, this is what makes me happy. It's a lot of money, but money's not going to make me happy. It's that $650 sitting in the bank is not going to make me happy. This makes me happy. If that makes me crazy, I'm okay with that. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you on the next one.